I was 19 at the time, and my mother sent me on a trip up to Flint, Saginaw, and Bay City, Michigan, to renew established business and to sell new prospects. Everything went fine at Flint. In Saginaw, I was in real selling trim, and my daily sales were outstanding. Since we only had 2 renewals in Bay City, I wrote to ask my mother to send notices to them so I could continue working in Saginaw. Don't run away from good fortune or success has always seemed a wise motto to me. But my mother telephoned and gave me orders to leave Saginaw and go to Bay City. I didn't want to, but I went. Orders are orders. Perhaps it was rebelliousness, although I like to consider it righteous indignation. But when I reached my hotel in Bay City, I took the 2 renewal names and threw them in the upper right-hand dresser drawer. Then I went to the largest bank and interviewed the cashier, a man by the name of Reed. I didn't know it then, but he had just been made cashier. In the course of our conversation, he pulled out a metal identification tag and said, "I've had your policy and key tag service for 15 years. I bought it originally when I was working in a bank in Ann Arbor. I was transferred here quite recently." I thanked Mr. Reed and asked for permission to speak to the others, which he granted. I let each prospect know that Mr. Reed said he had carried our service for 15 years and had granted me permission to speak to him. Results? Everyone bought. With this momentum, I kept on going from store to store, office to office. I call on banks, insurance offices, and other large institutions. I call on everyone. I just mowed them down. I averaged 48 policies per day for the 2 weeks I was in Bay City. And on the Saturday that I left, in fairness to our policyholders and the company, I opened the upper right-hand dresser drawer, took out the real names, and serviced them too. The principle became crystal clear to me. Do what you're afraid to do. Go where you are afraid to go. When you run away because you are afraid to do something big, you pass opportunity by. I later realized that I'd passed opportunity by for many reasons other than fear. And although you must have experience to develop know-how, you can acquire activity knowledge if you are willing to learn from those who are willing to teach, and from the experience of others, and from books. I should have realized this before the age of 19. It seems so obvious to me now. Yet there are many teenagers who, like me at that time, drop out of high school. They have an argument with the teacher, or they don't have the right study and work habits, or they want to earn money, or they feel they're grown up, or perhaps resent regimented authority. But fortunately for me, I developed the desire and willingness to learn from those who were willing to teach and from books. And a willingness to learn can turn temporary failure into success in the long run. You've heard it said, Mother is a wonderful cook, but she can never tell me exactly how she does it. It's just a pinch of this, a dash of that, she says, but her stews, meatloaf, and biscuits are sensational every time. Mother has know-how. What's the difference between knowledge and know-how? It's often the difference between success and failure. The word know-how does not mean knowing how to do something. That's activity knowledge. Know-how is doing that something the right way with skill and effectiveness, and with a minimum expenditure of time and effort. When you have know-how, you can do that something successfully again and again. It's a habit, and it comes naturally from experience. Know-how is one of the 3 essential ingredients in the success system that never fails. But how do you develop know-how? Only by doing. That's the way I developed the know-how I needed to sell accident insurance. And that's the way Mother became a wonderful cook. In fact, that's the way everyone develops know-how. The experience must be your very own. I discontinued high school my junior year. I'll tell you why later. Shortly after leaving high school, I entered a night law school. At that time, it was permissible to enter the Detroit College of Law with the understanding that 4 years of high school credits would be completed elsewhere before graduating from law school. So I worked days and went to school at night. I wasn't considered a good student because I didn't get my homework in, but I did learn, and I made it a practice to learn principles. Our instructor, one of Detroit's outstanding lawyers in contract law, said in his first lecture, "The purpose of law school is to teach you where to find the law when you need it. And the school will achieve its aim if you learn that." I believed him. I accepted his statement literally. And I doubt if many students with 1 year of law have ever profited as greatly as I did, for I was able to find the law when I needed it and to use it advantageously. Almost all the law that a sales manager or an executive officer of an insurance company needs to know can be found in the state insurance codes, and that's where I found the law when I needed it. I developed the know-how to apply with common sense the knowledge of law gained from the codes and at law school. I don't recall an instance where a legal problem with which I was faced was not decided favorably. During this time, I was operating my own insurance agency, and the know-how became invaluable to me and to the insurance companies I represented. To solve a problem or to reach a goal, you don't need to know all the answers in advance, but you must have a clear idea of the problem or the goal you want to reach. So begin to determine what you really want in the distant, intermediate, and near future. If you are not ready to set distant and intermediate specific concrete goals, be encouraged. It may be more beneficial at this time to decide what your general or abstract objectives should be. To have physical, mental, and moral health, to gain wealth, to be a person of character, to be a good citizen, father or mother, husband or wife, son or daughter. Whatever these general goals, they must of necessity be immediate objectives as well. Everyone has immediate, specific aims or objectives. You know, for example, what you intend to do tomorrow, or what you would like to do next week, or perhaps next month. And it would be easy for you to write down specific immediate goals that will, when achieved, bring you closer to the health, wealth, happiness, or character you expect to acquire in the intermediate or distant future. But you must want to. Now, there are those who have knowledge and know-how, but they don't succeed. For although they know what to do and how to do it, they don't feel like doing it. They're not inspired to action. Inspiration to action is the most important ingredient to success in any human activity. And inspiration to action can be developed at will.